Hey guys, Greg Downey here with LoanBidz.com, and today we are going to talk about the BRRRR strategy. Specifically, is the BRRRR strategy dead? Is it possible to do this anymore? We all know that it's a really powerful tool, but is it even possible nowadays? Hey, let's be real, prices are skyrocketing, deals are getting harder to find. Are lenders even interested in rental property loans anymore? Is the buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat strategy dead? Is it gone forever? So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be fun. If you find these videos helpful, please give us that feedback by hitting the like button somewhere down there, the subscribe button, and that little funny bell that'll give you notifications when we release our next video. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's dive into this. So hey, the real estate market is booming, supply is down, which means prices are going up, up, up. And hey, I know that your real estate investment network guru guy said, he's been saying for the last 6 years that the market is going to crumble and the bottom's falling out, just like it did in 2008. And that's going to happen within the next 6 months. So hey, should we just wait and do nothing and just stay on the sidelines and maybe the BRRRR strategy will work in the future, or could it actually still work today? So let's take a second and get in and not assume that everybody knows exactly what the BRRRR strategy is. So let's just give a super simple actual example, go through some numbers. I'll put our editor to the test and point at different stuff, and she can put numbers on the screen, which will be super fun. So let's dive into a really simple example of the BRRRR strategy, and it's going to really illustrate why it's so powerful, and then we can get into is it even possible to do this. So let's assume that we're buying a property for $150,000, and we're going to rehab said property for $50,000, and that's going to achieve an after repair value of about $255,000. Then you're going to be able to rent that property for about $2,200 a month. This is a pretty vanilla type deal that you can find kind of scattered throughout the country. Your area may have a little bit higher numbers, or your area may have a little bit lower numbers, but the spreads, the ratios here are going to look and feel very, very similar. So the goal here is that you do all of these things, you get a rehab loan, and then you refinance based on that $255,000 value, and you get every last penny of your initial money back out of the transaction, and you're getting infinite return on your money since you have no money still in the deal. So let's look at this from a financing angle, just to pin down the actual details that are often overlooked. So your first step loan, we're just gonna make a modest assumption that you qualify for an 85% of purchase price and 100% of rehab fix and flip loan. And those are typically up to 70% of the after repair value. Frequently, you can get that up to 75 if needed, but we're just going to stay modest for this conversation. So that translates to $177,500 loan, and your down payment in that is $22,500. And let's just throw in $7,000 in just loan costs, tax, title, insurance, loan costs, all of that stuff. So your all in is about $29,500 plus carrying cost. We'll address that a little bit later. So all in, $29,500, total loan, $177,500. So you do your work. Let's say it takes you 6 months or so. Maybe you're a little faster, maybe you're a little slower, but you have that tenant in there for $2,200 a month, and you are ready to refinance at 75% of the after repair value of $255,000. So that total loan, quick math, magic math is that 75% of $255,000 is $191,250,000 loan that you have, and then we're going to scrape off $10,000 in closing costs, and that includes setting up your escrows and things like that. So we're left with $181,250 minus our original loan of $177,500. And that translates to a huge cash out amount of $3,750. And that's with you getting your nice 30-year fixed loan. So let's bring this thing full circle, because we're going for infinite returns. So if you account for that $7,000 in total loan costs on the first loan that we haven't accounted for yet, plus let's say $2,500 in carrying costs, could be higher, could be lower, just depends how fast you're going. And then we still have that $3,750 of cash out from the refinance. And we're going to put all that together. Your net investment left in this transaction is $5,750. So in this scenario, we're being relatively modest on all things considered. You actually still have about $5,750 of your own hard-earned money in this transaction. Now, let's put that in perspective, though. A lot of people would say, man, that's a garbage deal. You did the BRRRR strategy and you still have money left on the table in the transaction. You don't know what you're doing. Well, let's give a little context here. So in this really modest example, you have $5,750 left in the transaction, but you own a $255,000 freshly rehabbed cash flowing rental property. So more magic math, that's an annualized return. If I just kind of make some assumptions of like a 5% 75 LTV loan, that translates to about $840 per month of cash flow after tax and insurance. You can work in what your CapEx reserves are. We're just going raw math here. So about $840 of cash flow on this property, or at an annualized rate, that's $10,080 annualized, held up against your initial seed money of $5,750. That translates to just under a 60% cash on cash return. And some people are saying that that's a really, really bad deal. Maybe it is for you, but if I've got a brand new, freshly renovated $255,000 property that's cash flowing at a 60% clip, I'm pretty happy with that. I've recouped my cash in about 7 months, so that $5,570 that of my money that was unfortunately left in the deal in this scenario, I've recouped that all in just under 7 months. And then anything after that, you have magically achieved infinite return. So if you get a marginally better deal where you get that second appraisal to come in 265, 270, which totally can happen because values are going up overnight, now you are from the get-go achieving that infinite return. So let's just recap on some things we learned with this simple example of BRRRR. BRRRR is super powerful. I guess you could argue with me that having in a moderate example that a 60% cash on cash return is not great. I think that that's pretty powerful when you showed up with 22 grand and you only leave 5 in and you've got that great property cash flowing for you for the next 30 years. I'm pretty content with that as an investor myself. The next thing I learned from this is you don't have to have a wildly amazing deal to make this work. Hey, if you get a little luck on that second appraisal and it comes in at 265, 270, yeah, you reach that magic number. But this example illustrates it doesn't have to be a home run, and it's still going to be just fine. So what if you don't get every penny out of it? I don't know. It's still really awesome. You're getting a great property that cash flows, and it needs to obviously match your investing strategy. But this is totally doable. So we just went through an example and just kind of pin down, at least maybe it's just my opinion on those things, but it seems to resonate with a lot of the investors that we work with, that that's kind of the goal that they're going for. So let's hold this up to our current environment, right? Values are up, right? So it's harder to find a good deal, so to speak. We've got a lot of people saying, well, the bottom's going to fall out and all this stuff. I tell you, I've been hearing those people for the last like 6 or 7 years saying the bottom's falling out tomorrow. Just wait. And they're still waiting. So what I see right now is, okay, purchase price values have gone up, right? So that rehab you're buying at higher than what you would have bought it a year ago. Yep. That's what happens when prices are going up. But also at the same time, you have to understand that after repair value on a freshly rehabbed property is going up by maybe an equal amount. You need to do your due diligence. It's different everywhere and every single deal is different. But conceptually, if the value on the front end is going up, the value on the back end is going up by a similar amount. So you could just take this example and multiply by 1.25. Well, all of it still ends up being the same thing, just at a higher basis. So it's hard to find deals. I get it, but it's always been hard to find deals. I've been hearing that from investors for the last 4 years doing this. Wow, it's getting harder to find deals. I guess so, but find them, and I've got a ton of clients that are doing it. So I would say if you can make sense of the deal, and you can get comfortable with the possibility of leaving a little bit of cash in the deal if things don't go super amazing, but it's still great with great cash flows, then you can probably do that deal with some comfortability. Now, Fannie Mae just put out some guidance indicating that they're going to be looking at rental property loans less favorably, or at least trying to limit the amount of those that they're doing. So maybe not looking at them less favorably, but you may be getting that feedback as a potential end user of that product that you're not going to be able to qualify for those in some circumstances. So what do you do if I can't have the magic financing at some crazy low interest rate? Then none of this works. And if that's your perspective on a deal, like if I can't get that Fannie or Freddie conventional loan at 3-something%, then this deal's garbage. Well, my thought to you is, based on the investors that we're working with, is that if it doesn't work, if your deal's garbage, unless you get that conventional financing, then your deal is probably garbage to begin with. And that's okay. You can simply just pass. You don't have to do that deal. But there are endless amounts of private institutional loans that mirror those conventional loans. You can get the nice 75% cash out with shorter seasoning, right? You can get those done 90 days after you purchase and rehab that property, 90 days after the purchase date. You can get that 75% of the new value. You get a nice 30-year fixed rate. Yes, the rate's a little bit higher, and the fees are a little bit higher because that's just how it works in the private institutional lending world. But it's still high quality loan products that are very reliable and predictable, and they can make this BRRRR strategy work. And actually, the assumptions I made were based on those types of loans, and it works. It's a excellent strategy. So to answer the question, is the BRRRR strategy dead? No, conceptually, it's the same thing. It can't die. If you've got a good deal, it's going to plug in. Is it harder to find deals right now? I don't know. It depends on your area. All I can say is that in the 39 states that we are playing ball right now, we've got investors finding deals in all of those states. I think their sentiment is that it's harder to find deals, But again, I've been hearing that for the last 5 or 6 years. Well, I should back up, 4 years or so. We've been hearing the same thing, and that just is what it is. It's always going to be difficult to find great value, but when you do, it makes sense. The numbers are there, and it's a very powerful tool that is very much doable in today's environment. You have to be patient, and you have to have the financing to make it come full circle. Again, it's not as much about getting the absolute best interest rate. Yes, go get the best loan you can possibly get, but it's really about having a reliable product that can make it go full circle, right? You need the purchase and rehab loan, and then you need that refinance loan at, say, 75%. So those are the things that really matter. And within that, of course, get the lowest rate that you can find reasonably, but making sure that you can get into that loan product and make that refinance happen on the back end to get as much of that cash out is the key to making you get as close to the infinite return mark as you can possibly get. So yes, BRRRR's alive. Go get you some. And live the dream as a real estate investor. That's what we're all trying to do. That's what I do as a real estate investor. That's what I help my clients do with helping them find the right loans, or even if they just want to sell the property and make that initial seed money show up with a flip. That's what we're trying to do, is break the 9-to-5 mold. And you can still do it today. So I hope that's encouraging for you. I know that we did a little bit of shock and awe with the subject line and all that good stuff, but it's all in good fun. BRRRR strategy still works. You can go find them, go get you some, and keep investing. Thanks, guys.